Hello and welcome to Centex Primetime. We are here live today from. Let me meet that. We are here live today here from. We haven't named the studio yet. Haven't named the studio, so that's just another opportunity for you to get in on what's happening here at Centex Sports. But I am Leroy Gillis, and I'm here with the co-host, the one that's always here with Jalen Gillis, none other than Mr. Rocky Miller, the ruler of these Waco YouTube streets.
Hey, what's up there, Roy, man? I don't know if I want to be the ruler.
You're
Let
the
me put
ruler.
a target on me, man.
You're the ruler of these Waco YouTube streets, and we're here. So much happening last weekend, a lot of things happening in sports. I'm just kind of filling in right now for Jalen. He's on his way here. He got a little held back. You can see, Rocky, I'm not even really dressed in like sports gear. You know, I'm kind of dressed in some other kind of.
You're doing your other thing.
I got some other kind of gear on, but hey, we're just happy to have you in here for the ride this afternoon on this beautiful day that we see outside. This is the day that the Lord has made. We're rejoicing and glad in it. Rocky, you had an opportunity to kind of hit the road this week, man.
Yeah, we did. HBCU Coaches Corner went on the road, and we went to the A, and where Atlanta hosted the SWAC MEAC Challenge. Mm-hmm. It was a game between North Carolina Central University and Southern University out of Baton Rouge, Louisiana. North Carolina Central is located in Durham, North Carolina. It just so happens to be the same city as Duke University, right down the street from North Carolina Street. Also, like right down the street from UNC Chapel Hill. So yeah, it's
so you got to let us know what you saw, man.
Man, you know, I tell anybody this, man. If you haven't been to an HBCU event, you haven't really experienced Black culture in its fullness and in its pageantry. Yeah. It has something to offer that we don't get to see in our events. It's like a church service with a Frankie Beverly concert.
Wait a minute.
And a family reunion.
Oh, that's dangerous.
All wrapped into one.
All wrapped.
And when you add the academic aspect of it in the collegiate environment, it creates a melting pot of Black people, that cross-section of Black people, young and old, that you just don't usually get, you know, with our events. You know what I mean? Like, you know, and usually when we're going to fairs and rodeos and stuff like that, we have to kind of find each other in those spaces. Whereas when we go to HBCU event, we're everywhere. From the concert to the outdoor fan experience, everything is tailored toward the culture. It's absolutely phenomenal experience. And then you put the bands right in the midst of, because they're a big part. You know, they're a big part of the experience. They're not part of the game, so don't you know. But they are part of the experience.
They are part of the experience of what you get. You know, and maybe that's because that's so closely connected with the culture. And so that sounds good. Now, there was some college games going on, but I'm going to tell you, Rock, now, I didn't get an opportunity to see a lot of stuff, but I did get an opportunity to see a little bit of that Cleveland Browns game, man.
Yeah.
That Cleveland Browns game, bro. And so all eyes was on the Browns waiting. I didn't even want to see the first half. I didn't even want to see the first half because I knew who was going to be playing in the first half. Flacco and DG. But that third quarter I wanted to see, and it was Shador, and it wasn't good, all right?
No.
Our expectation had been raised to such a place that we just expected for him to go out there and be able to turn it on, even though he had the oblique injury and was out not throwing it all for a week, even though he hadn't been getting the same reps as the other players, even though we just thought he was able to just go. I thought he just go in there and just turn it on. And we found out
he's a mere mortal.
He is a mere mortal. And you can't just turn it on and turn it off. And it's a lot that goes with the success. Football is not like baseball. Football is a team sport. And you need the team to be around you in order to be successful. But just tell me about what you saw. What you saw.
Well, what I saw was this, and I actually, with me and Coach Cole, sit up and watched it in our room. It was just me and we were just sitting up there watching it in our room, and you know, he was sped up, and he almost looked kind of rusty as well. You know, one of the things about the first game that he played in, even though he played against the ones of I believe it was Carolina. He didn't look sped up. He looked like he knew where he was going or whatever. And you may get this. He looked like a singer who hadn't rehearsed.
Yeah.
You understand what I'm saying? Like that's what it kind of looked like to me. You got to remember going into the first game, he was getting the reps. He was getting reps because the other quarterbacks were injured. So even though he wasn't getting reps with the ones, he was getting reps with other groups of guys. Other guys would be out on the field, and he did look like he was sharp in that game. He looked like he was prepared and ready to go. It also looked like to me that they didn't spend much time preparing him for that experience.
I think he looked like we thought he was going to look in that first game.
Yes.
Because he didn't get the time with the one. So those are the can I just say the political correct views. Now let's talk about the other side of this. What is the Browns doing? What kind of plan is it Stefanski? Does he have with these quarterbacks that he's got 4 or 5 quarterbacks in there? And what kind of plan does he have? Do the Browns have a plan? Is their plan simply to create some kind of exit strategy to leverage Shedeur for some other play down the road? Is he, and I'm just asking these questions, is he so stuck on Dylan Gabriel is my pick that he cannot see the forest for the trees? What is the Cleveland plan? Should the plan be for Shedeur, man, I got to get out of Cleveland, Ohio? Is that the plan? Should that be the plan?
I don't think that should be the plan because, in these situations, generally speaking, they're going to give you exactly what you don't want. You know what I mean? I just think that's where he is as a sports. Because let me say this, Shedeur is a sports property at this point. He's not necessarily only a player. He's a sports property, and the Browns own that sports property. You've been a realtor for many years, right? And so sometimes you know what things are worth, right? You can look at it and you say, hey, that's $250,000, that's $300,000, that's $400,000. But when you're speculating, sometimes you don't know what something is worth, and you're afraid to sell it because you really don't know what it's worth. How many times you went up to an old raggedy house, found out who the owner was, contacted the owner and asked him, hey, man, you looking to sell that house? Yeah. And he want to know what you're willing to give me for it. And you give him an offer, and then he was like, and he just raises the price just because you want it. And I think that's where the Browns are from a franchise. They have something they know it has value, and they don't know what it's worth, and they certainly don't want to trade it away without and have it come back to bite them. And people because you got
it's people's jobs at play.
Yeah, because if you trade him away, and he ends up being a top-notch player in this league, it goes back to that's the Browns being the Browns. You understand what? They're already dealing with it with Baker Mayfield while paying Deshaun Watson $230 million. They dealing with that. And if they do it again with Shedeur, let him go off. Say he goes out to the Rams and ends up being, or Seattle is looking for a backup quarterback, or
anywhere,
and then he ends up being a player, and they're still in search of their franchise quarterback. Because I don't think, if Shedeur is not their franchise quarterback, I don't think their franchise quarterback is on their roster right now.
No. I haven't seen. Dylan Gabriel played very well. He's still very scripted. I think that just a little bit of scheme, if you take away those outs, those quick outs he was running, uh, and a zone is going to take away some of that. They're going to start sitting on corners, they're going to start sitting down on them receivers, and now you're going to have to do something different. You got to go down the middle of the field and find receivers being 5'7" over 6'5" linemen. So that's going to be a whole different thing. But I'm not convinced. I don't trust Cleveland. I don't trust them. I don't trust that they have a plan. I think that no one has, to me, stepped up and said, I am out of Pappy. I'm the one that said we're going to pick Shador. I haven't heard anybody say it was me. I've heard people do to rule out someone because the owner said that it wasn't him, but I don't know that I believe that. And so we could say that maybe it was the general manager. But when you look at the general manager and the coach, when the pick was announced, they all looked like they were they had some consternation going on when that was done. So I don't know who was the one that picked him. Picked him, but it was a dumb idea to draft a quarterback at 3 and then draft the better quarterback at 5. That's crazy talk.
Yeah.
And so there was nothing that Dylan gave. It puts him in a bad. You're gonna put like the guy that had the highest completion percentage in college last year behind me. He's on my heels at all times. That's crazy. And then if you were not gonna give Shador the things that he needs in order to be successful, it's really it's not fair from his side either. That line wasn't blocking. That looked like the 2023 Colorado Buffalo line. That's what that looked like.
He was playing with a bunch of guys, and one thing that Coach pointed out, he says when you're playing with guys, when you're the quarterback, and you're playing with guys that ultimately are not going to be on the team tomorrow. You know what I mean? You can't really, not only the guys that he's playing with, the guys he's playing against. A lot of those guys weren't going to be on there.
Mm-hmm.
They had some guys that playing in the defensive line that was looking like, Lawrence Taylor and Warren Sapp out there. So it was really.
That was some nasty work. That was some nasty work at the end of that game, yeah. Let me just break in right here. If you're watching, make sure, whether you're watching this live or on the replay, make sure you like and subscribe to the channel. We're getting a message. Look here, Rock. I'm getting a message that the host is here. Jalen is here.
Yeah.
So make sure you like and subscribe to the channel. We are the broadcast is not only going out on YouTube and Facebook, but it's also on Roku. You can go over to Centex Sports Network on Roku, download the app. You can watch it right there, and we'll definitely appreciate your support. While I'm here, if I can just take a point of privilege, if I was to be in the pulpit, one point of privilege here. We need sponsors, and we are endeavoring to roll out content that is relevant to sports here in Central Texas and abroad, and are relevant to culture, relevant from a perspective of the people that actually play these games. So, we need sponsors. And so I know we got businesses out here. You don't have to be African-American business. Any business that is interested in helping us put this product out. And I told someone today, I was talking to a business owner, Rock, and he said, okay, y'all looking for sponsorship? I said, no, we're not looking for sponsorship. We're looking for partners. We're not looking for a handout. We driving traffic. So if you got a business and you want us to drive some traffic your way, give us a shout. You can inbox us at Centex Sports Network. You can reach us there. Just reach out to us. We love to send one of the reps by your business, do some video, pump it up. Today we signed a guy, RJ's Bargain Center, and we're going to be helping him with his social media, doing some commercials, doing everything we can to drive traffic to his business, and that's the kind of service that we want to do, Rock. We can do this in Waco, man. I'm telling you.
Absolutely. You know how passionate I am about business and building an ecosystem to where our local businesses support one another, as and we truly here at Centex Sports want to be a partner and an advocate for those businesses who want to grow and expand their customer base. Um, Nowadays, customers are the lifeblood of your business. I don't care. You can have the best apple pie, or since we're on Centex Sports, the best sweet potato pie in the world. But if nobody will go out and tell anybody, if nobody will go out and spread the word, if you won't go out and market and advertise, you just be left at home with all those sweet potato pies, having to eat them yourself in your shop or in your store, in your bakery. So what we endeavor to do is if you have a great product and you believe in your own product, you have to invest in marketing and advertising of that product. People always say this old adage, word of mouth is the best advertisement. That's the biggest bunch of foolery ever told. Because if marketing was the biggest, if word of mouth was the best form of advertisement, then McDonald's, Burger King, some of the biggest brands in the world wouldn't be running billion dollars worth of commercials each and every year. To capture market share in your local area, if you're a local business, or if you're a business that offers products all over the globe, or web-based business, Centex Sports can help you get the word out. Because again, a lot of the conversations we're going to have are going to be about local sports.
Yeah.
And a large segment of our audience is going to be local. But also, the internet is where content is placed, and any and everybody has a chance to come in, and they do.
It levels the playing
look
field
at our content
in a lot of ways. And so make sure you reach out and post it on one of the Facebook groups. We're looking for Friday night flex is starting this Friday night, and we're looking for a caterer. And so if you got a business and you got the ability to feed 6 or 7 hungry crew people that might have some critique but also highlight your business, you need to inbox us. Let us know. We'd be glad to get you on there. It's gonna look just like Good Morning America. We're gonna have the table with the food on it. You come out with your white smock looking all chef like. We're gonna make it look real good. It'll be something you can cut that content up and then use it on your platforms. And so inbox us for that. Let me take a quick break. Control room. Y'all take a quick break. When we come back here, Centex Sports Network, Jalen is in the building, and we'll be right back after this.
Hello and welcome back into Centex Primetime. As you guys seen, we had a little bit of an audible here earlier today, but hey, like in sports that we're here talking about, it's always next man up. We got plenty of people to jump in. If my dad wasn't able to go, Jamal was gonna come from behind producing and jump in the seat over here. But appreciate everybody for jumping in with us here. It's Football Monday, as y'all know. They just got done talking about Brown and Shador. Still joined here by Rocky Miller, like I am every single Monday. And folks, let's just continue some more of these conversations before we jump back into the Browns a little bit and some more NFL preseason. Got to talk about, I like to throw in some quick takes here every now and then. Let's talk a little bit about what's going on in Kansas State. And it has absolutely nothing to do with the fact that they lost to Iowa State in Dublin. It's got everything to do with the fact that, it was really almost an eye-opening video.
Some high-level niggardry going on, boy.
It was,
Boy.
He came out. So Avery Johnson's dad gets into a fight after the game with his own son, who is also the brother of Avery Johnson, who's playing quarterback. Now, I'm exactly like all of you that did see the video. The very first thing I thought when watching this video happen was, Avery Johnson is black? That's the first thing I thought. I was shocked. I said, wait, what Avery Johnson they talking about when they said Avery Johnson's dad? Maybe they mean the basketball player for the Spurs and the coach for the Dallas Mavericks and Alabama. And I seen it.
Racist.
No, I'm not. I just didn't know. All I'm saying is I didn't know. The blonde hair and blue eyes threw me off. But hey, man, it's all type of shades of people out here in this world. I just didn't know. So there's a fight that's happening in the parking lot. This is some real, DeSoto versus Duncanville type of stuff going on, where it's a fight happening in the parking lot of the game. But the two people, I'm expecting to see a Kansas State guy and an Iowa State guy. Well, the people fighting rode in the car together with each other back from the hotel or whatever in Dublin. Rocky, what in the world was going on, and how did these two?
Bro, that's weird, man. Like I said,
I've never seen that.
Had it not, bro, if you would have just told me the story,
Yes.
I'm gonna be honest with you, Jalen. At a football game, if you had told me the story, I'd have thought it was us, bro.
Yep. Yeah.
I thought it was us. Now, and what I mean by that is Avery Johnson is the quarterback for Kansas State. You can Google him, go look him up. He's a good-looking, long-haired dude. We actually got a chance to meet him while we were at
Big 12 Media.
Big 12 Media Day.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he's a big dude too as a quarterback. I was, and he's probably on a lot of watch lists as maybe a Heisman watch list, maybe All-American watch list, whatever. So he's had a great career at Kansas State, and a viral video has been released of his dad and his brother scrapping it out, and they not doing no little bitty fighting either. No, they not doing. This ain't no pushing and shoving.
Nah.
They really doing what they do, man.
He's trying to choke out his son. I said, this is a real deal fight right here. Usually you see the
dad
dad
was
come
mad.
in and throw some blows. No, the dad was mad. He had his son in the chokehold on the bottom of the pile, and I seen an arm come out to swing. I said, oh, this is a real fight. This isn't just a don't disrespect me type of push and shove type of thing. They fighting like they don't know each other.
Yeah, that was high-level violence they were in. You know what I mean? And you usually don't see that kind of violence.
Nah.
Hey, but I'm going to tell you, when you see that kind of violence, that lets you know what kind of upbringing Avery Johnson had.
Yeah.
And it's no doubt, it's not a surprise now that he's a physical quarterback.
No surprise.
He runs with reckless abandon. Because like I say, if his dad's way of discipline and dealing with problems is quite aggressive. I'll just say that, man. It's aggressive. So again, man, this is just my cynical nature talking here.
Yeah.
I haven't seen this on ESPN. I haven't seen this on CNN. I hadn't seen this on Al Jazeera. I hadn't seen this on World News Tonight. And I just believe if that family were black, they would have it all over the news.
Yeah, it's a pretty strange.
That was the if they were black moment. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
if they were black. Again, unfortunately, this is not good for any family, right? We're making fun of this or whatever. And I want to say this. It's not good for any family, but that was a international domestic violence.
International.
Event.
How many times have we seen that? I mean, y'all would have had something to say if this was NC Central and Southern, if a fight had
yeah.
broke out with the two quarterbacks.
Man, great point.
It'd have been a little bit different story, but when it's Kansas State, Iowa State, it's just let's push this into the background.
Yes.
Let's just that is a good point, man. And I thought it was pretty interesting because I was like just shy. I had to go back and watch it 3 or 4. I'm like, this can't really be the dad and the brother fighting. Maybe they just, people be trolling. Maybe they just trolling. No, this is like you said, we see where he gets his physical play from. If that's how they handle their disputes growing up in the household, I said, man, this is a real fight.
Here's what one of our Emmett Jones, one of our guys watching it on YouTube says, Avery Johnson isn't mixed.
Yeah, he's. I think he is mixed because I think his dad is black and his mom is white.
So he's mixed?
That's what I started off saying. I'm saying my biggest surprise to all of this was Avery Johnson was black. I didn't know. Now, Avery, that sounds like Avery Johnson. Now, if you just throw that name out in the bucket and pick somebody's mail up, you might think that's a brother. Avery Johnson, okay, yeah, that's old Avery Johnson, Estelle Johnson's son. But this
Come on
is
now, we long since Johnsons, Jefferson, Washington, they not all black.
They
man.
ain't all black, but a good chunk of them is. So the ones I know is. So, but no, I was shocked by that whole scenario. That was shocked by the whole scenario.
So that was half white on half white crime right there.
Yes, it was. Yes, it was. That was a little Patrick Mahomes action going on right there. I didn't know what to. Y'all go and watch the video, man. Go on Twitter or X or whatever and go watch the video. I was shocked.
They done got me confused, man.
I was shocked.
So go out to Twitter. I think I watched mine on Instagram.
I seen
go out
it
and check
on,
it out
on Twitter.
Avery Johnson's dad and brother got a future in MMA.
Yeah.
I'll just put it like that, man.
Definitely physical. I want to jump back in real quick just on the Cleveland Browns side, man, with this, fiasco, I guess you could say, going on within the Cleveland Browns organization. From the outside looking in, it looks like a fiasco. It could all be fine, perfectly normal within the organization. But we saw the last preseason game. Shador did not play well. I'm not even going to come on and, try to be an apologist and all that. Shador did not play well in the last game. But we have to have context to these conversations. We can't just say he played bad and look at the stat and say he played bad. Yes, he did. He's holding the ball too long. He's doing the things that we said he should stop doing when he was at Colorado. But that's why you put rookies out there to make mistakes. If y'all think he's just going to go out there and play a perfect game, he would have been the number 1 pick and we'd already started calling him Tom Brady. He can have mistakes. His mistakes just happen to be heightened more than everybody else because, like I said last week, he might be the most popular player in the NFL. Made mistakes, held onto the ball too long, got some sacks. For one, everybody he's playing with out there might already be cut right now. Let's just start with that. He did not play with anybody that's probably going to be on an NFL roster going forward throughout the season. So that adds to the mistakes. His lack of opportunities, it seems like the game plan changed when Shador got in the game. Dillon Gabriel was in the game. There was a very run-pass, a great balance of run and pass, I feel like, at least from my perspective, when Dillon Gabriel was in the game. Shador comes in the game similar to game 1 when he played in the preseason. Very pass happy. It's like every play is a pass play. First down, second down, third down, every play is a pass play. He doesn't perform to the way he wants to. Then he gets yanked before he gets a chance to do the 2-minute drill at the very end of the game to let Snoop Huntley, who we know is not going to be on the Browns roster, come in and play for the last 2 minutes. A lot of people felt like that was unfair. I agree with that. I feel like that was unfair. He played bad. Let him go out there and try to get his last little redemption. And it's the last 2 minutes of preseason. This might be the last time he plays this season. Why not let him get the last 2 minutes? You know Tyler Huntley's not going to be on your roster. Why are you switching him out to take Shador out? There's just been a lot of conversation on, are they trying to sabotage him? Does the coach not like him? I don't know exactly what's going on. What I do know is Shador, even though he didn't play his best game in that last game, he still played good in the first preseason game. Dillon Gabriel played better in this game. He still played bad in the second preseason game. So both quarterbacks did things good. Both quarterbacks did things that they have to go back and work on. To throw Shador out just because of this last game would be crazy. To throw Dillon Gabriel out just because of his first game that he played would have been crazy. So I think this is a situation where we just got to wait and see what's going to happen. Joe Flacco will not play. I don't even think this is a bold take. Joe Flacco's not going to play all 17 games. At some point, somebody else is going to get in the game, whether that's due to injury or whether that's just due to the Browns being so bad that, hey, let's play some rookies and see some of these guys come in. Do you think this is like some type of self-sabotage from the Browns? Was this an unfair deal? or is this just football playing out how it's playing out at this point?
I think this. To be honest with you, I think it's football. I think it's I think Shador has had an outstanding camp, and I don't think you can have some success in life without adversity. And this is football. Remember, I told you early in the season. I think I got this from Garrett Bush. Shout out to Garrett Bush.
Definitely shout
in the
out.
Ultimate Sports Show. Ultimate Cleveland Sports Show, by the way. Football is going to football. And this was a situation where I just think the way the game unfolded, whoever got the snaps toward the end of the game were going to be in an uphill battle. Really, they had the lead. I want to say it was a 2-score lead for the most part when Shador got in the game. And they could have really just turned around and handed the ball off. But I want to say they were playing to the fans, and they were trying to let Shador air it out.
Yeah.
To his own detriment, in my opinion. So
It was.
again, I think what Shador is as a quarterback and what he can be is pretty been well established. He is not Shador as much as I really love him as a player, love his family, love all that he's represented in this situation. To Shador, in my opinion, is a much better trailer than he is a truck. What I mean by that is that if Shador has to pull you across the finish line, then your team is not going to be as good. If he is the guy that's distributing to top-notch players and whatever, he's much more efficient and proficient in that role. But I don't think that's any different than Tom Brady.
Yeah, I'm about to say 90-something% of quarterbacks ever.
Yeah. And so, again, I think he's, at this place in his career, he just needs to sit back and learn. And like I said last week, him sitting out a year, learning the NFL game, learning with the Browns, practicing every day against the first team defense. See, you won't have that problem with going against the ones as the season unfolds. He's going to go against the ones. He's going to be the scout team quarterback. So he's going to have to go against Myles Garrett and all those other guys. They're going to know exactly how good he is. And so this year of him just being developed as a player, I think, is essential to his overall success. And hopefully by the time he gets a chance to go out there and play, he's learned enough. He has a grasp of the offense. He'll be playing with NFL players, and he'll be able to really showcase the skills and ability he has.
Yeah, I agree. I think Shador, your point I liked the most was let's just sit him, like we've said for a while. Every rookie's not going to come in and play right away, and most of the rookies that come in and play right away aren't going to play good. That's just how it goes. So let's sit him back a year.
Troy Aikman sucked as a rookie. I just want y'all to
Peyton
know
Manning
that.
was horrible. It might not get any worse than Peyton Manning as a rookie. Really, first 2 years, he was a turnover machine. And you see what Peyton Manning turned into. So let's give these guys some time. Everybody doesn't come out and just be Cam Newton right away. Everybody doesn't have a season like Jaden Daniels had last year as a rookie. Most guys are going to be the trailer instead of the truck. That's just how it goes. And for me, when I'm building my team, I'm cool. I want almost my quarterback to be the trailer instead of the truck. If he can distribute the ball to everybody and not turn the ball over. Work with Tom Brady. It's worked with Brock Purdy. It worked with Drew Brees early on. Like, it's a lot of these guys that worked for. So there's nothing wrong with Shador doing that. I think Shador is right in kind of that middle level of play as far as amongst his contemporaries and the rookie quarterbacks and how they played in the preseason. I think Cam Ward played decent at times, and he also had times where he didn't play so great. I think Jackson Dart might have played the best out of everybody there. So Jackson Dart played pretty good as a rookie as well. Shador is right along in there with Tyler Show, struggled a lot in New Orleans. And then we saw Jalen Milroe have his up and downs and moments. These guys are rookies, man. We got to give these guys some more time. Let's just not judge all of this. As we said last week, Joe Flacco is going to be the starter. No matter what, there was nothing Shador or Dylan Gabriel was going to do to make Joe Flacco not be the starter. There was nothing, in my opinion, from what I seen, that Shador could have done to make himself the number 2 behind Dylan Gabriel. I think this was a premeditated deal. We saw it in the rep. Shedeur goes out there, plays great in week 1. Dylan Gabriel still gets to start in week 2. When they finally both get on the field, both healthy, even though Shedeur's one game was better than Dylan Gabriel's one game, Dylan Gabriel still got to play ahead of Shedeur. So that was already premeditated. There was nothing that was going to do to be decided. Now, let's just sit back and let's just learn. The Browns aren't going to be good. I don't know if Quinshon Judkins is going to play or not due to his legal case, but they don't have much of a running game. Their receiving room's not good. The offensive line is sketchy. So they're not going to be that good of a team. Their defense will be good, but they won't be that good of a team. Shedeur, all in all, at the end of the day, I think he's going to be fine. They're not going to cut him. For the people that are saying, well, they might go out there and cut him now because he didn't play good, or they're not going to cut a cash cow. That just doesn't make sense. No owner's doing that. They're not going to cut Shedeur and let somebody else start reaping all the benefits of him getting paid, him having a top-selling jersey. That's not going to happen.
Or just a simple situation is they're not going to get rid of him unless they get significant trade value for him. Like someone would have to come in and offer maybe a second to I say at least a third-round pick.
Yeah, 2 through 4. It would have to be a significant pick to get you. You can't get a fifth.
Yeah,
we've seen some other guys get traded for today. It can't be a seventh-round pick swap.
He has too much. And like I said on earlier, he's a sports media property, man.
Yes.
Whatever team Shedeur is on, the eyes are going to follow him. They're going to rebuy his jersey. You know what I mean? So
absolutely.
I think the Browns and Shedeur are attached by the hip for the foreseeable future. I know a lot of y'all say they're going to believe when the coaches said they're going to carry 4 quarterbacks. I don't believe that. I don't believe they're going to have 4 quarterbacks. I don't see any.
Kenny Pickett gone? Who do you think's going out of that room?
Again, I mean, Kenny Pickett is the odd man out in that situation, and I think they're just trying to find a home in a situation for him,
Yeah.
I don't see – now his salary is negligible, so maybe he does make it to the first season, but I don't see him carrying 4 quarterbacks the entire season. I just don't see it, and I don't even think their plan long term is for 4 quarterbacks. Because if you get in a situation where you have to play – well, let me rethink this a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
If he gets hurt if Flacco gets hurt in the first 6 games, they probably won't pick it to come in. Because if you look at their Cleveland's first 6 games, it's a gauntlet.
Yeah, it is.
It
definitely
is a gauntlet. But if Flacco gets hurt after the first 6 games, I'm sure they're gonna roll out Dylan Gabriel, and then eventually maybe Shedeur will get an opportunity to play. But I'm not all up in arms, and I don't think Saturday was an indictment on what kind of player he is.
Yeah, for sure. I don't think so either. I think Saturday, we can't go just off of Saturday. Just like we couldn't go just off of last week's preseason game for Dylan Gabriel. Like it takes a body of work, and they get the whole preseason for a reason. And we've seen what Shedeur can do when the lights come on, when the lights are the brightest. We know what he can do. You're going out there playing with literally, I mean, it's just honestly the worst guys on the roster is who Shedeur played with. Whoever the worst guy is at their position on offense that the Browns had in training camp is who Shedeur went out there with on Saturday. So he can only do so much. Can he not hold the ball as long? Sure. Is he going to make mistakes, though? Absolutely. He's a rookie. That's what you're supposed – that's what preseason is. We shove you out there so you can go make mistakes, and either we can critique you on it or we can cut you and say, hey, we'll let somebody else deal with that and those mistakes. But obviously the story is going to be huge around it if he has a bad game, because just look at his brother. His brother got cut, and it was on the Shade Room. This is football. This was on the Shade Room. This is on ESPN's main page. ESPN's not like, Bleacher Report will post something like 10, 15 posts a day. ESPN might only do 2 or 3 posts a day. One of their 2 or 3 posts is Shiloh Sanders, cut from the Buccaneers. He was an undrafted free agent. 90% of the guys that were undrafted free agents got cut yesterday. And Shiloh Sanders is the guy that's on the main page news on ESPN and Bleacher Report and even the Shade Room. So we see how the story is going to go. Everything's going to be drawn out of conclusion. Everything is going to be blown out of proportion. What we do know is we've seen what Shedeur can do on the field. And more than any of that, we've seen how he's carried himself for all the lies of the character issues and the pre-draft process, doesn't do this. Look at how he's conducted himself through all of this. He hasn't said anything crazy. He had his own teammate come out and say there's entertainers and there's Like, this is the guy in the room with you. And he didn't handle that situation wrong. Some people say, he said he doesn't know if Dylan Gabriel was telling the truth or not. What is he supposed to say? He don't know if Dylan Gabriel was telling the truth or not. He doesn't know if Dylan Gabriel was talking about him or not. But he handled that like a professional. He's handled all the extra media like a professional. All of that. So let's change that narrative from the pre-draft thing when we all he's wearing hoodies into the meetings and he put earphones on while Brian Dable was drawing up play. Why would he do, like, come on, that was just nonsense. Let's change that narrative and let's just see what's going to happen with this Cleveland Browns thing. Like Rocky just said, we don't know. They got a gauntlet them first few weeks. We don't know if Flacco's making it through. Flacco is 139 years old. He might not make it through the first couple games. So we'll see.
He won't.
We'll see. We'll see what they do. Vegas probably got a prop out right now on that. How many games will Joe Flacco play through the season? NFL preseason just wrapped up. NFL season is right around the corner. Of course, we cannot wait. That game, the season is going to kick off, and the season will start with the premier game of America's team, as Rocky likes to call them, and the Philadelphia Eagles to open up the season on Thursday night. America's team has obviously stayed in the headlines in the last few weeks. They've dropped a movie. Jerry Jones has something to say every day. Micah Parsons has kind of fired back a little bit. There were some very interesting comments, to say the least, from Jerry Jones. He did a full sit-down interview with Stephen A. Smith. Shout out to Stephen A., man. A lot of people can't get that interview. He sat down, got the full course interview with Jerry Jones, hour-long interview with Jerry Jones, who we don't see do that much. But it's just funny to see Jerry Jones adapting to the times now and saying, okay, I got to go seek out the number one guy in the media and go sit down with him so I can tell my story and control my narrative, similar to what we see some athletes do. I want to play a little bit of what Jerry Jones had to say in his interview with Stephen A. Smith, and we'll talk about some of those comments that Jerry said during this interview.
You are a billionaire, considering your extensive experience negotiating over the years. What about a pass?
I stood there on our last day of mini camps talking with Micah. Have your agent call me.
You told him that?
Call me, yes.
You told him
Have your
that?
agent call me. How many times have you seen the little rascal so clever go in there and mama told him, you're not going to get it. And goes in to daddy, who only sees him after 5 in the afternoon, wants to love him, and says, you can have it, son. You can have that before dinner. And he goes back in and says, Mama, Daddy said I could have it. That's the old mom, dad, been around since the beginning of time. I'm not going to go for that shit here. That's what's happening.
You're not going for it.
I'm not going for it, no. Frankly, it wouldn't have made any difference what the negotiation was. Guess who has to be comfortable for this to work?
Micah.
And who else?
You.
Hello. There's not room for a third. Michael came in from Saudi Arabia, called me from Saudi Arabia. We negotiate, get it all done. I get a call. I don't want you to call me anymore.
He said
So
that
we
to
have
you?
him call.
Micah Parsons
Course,
said to you, I
course.
don't want you to call me anymore.
Don't call me anymore. Don't call me anymore.
After calling you
That's correct.
and
Well,
igniting a negotiation,
and
he turns
exchanging our
around and
numbers,
exchanging
and we
numbers
negotiate,
and
and then don't call
negotiating.
me anymore.
And then he calls you back and said, don't call. I don't want
My
you to call me
agent-
anymore.
The agent calls. He says, we need to start a negotiation with Micah. Guy says, well, we have negotiated. We'll send you over the deal. Proverbially, just keep it. I won't tell you where to put it, but just keep it. We're going to start a negotiation. Okay? We've had the negotiation, period. Michael came.
So, mouthful said there by Mr. Jerry Jones, the gambler and America's team, as he liked to quote it and say it over there on Netflix. A lot being said there. You know, he's got these Jerry-isms that he throws out. You know, the mama goes and says to the son, you can't have him. He goes to, Jerry, come on, say what you're trying to say. What he really wanted to say was, I ain't going for that. And he said it there at the end of it. He said that Micah told him to stop reaching out after he reached out and had a deal done. Like he said, had a deal done, and Micah told him to stop reaching out. I don't know what side to believe. What I do know is Jerry Jones is adapting somewhat to the time, saying, I'm going to control this narrative instead of me going to keep waiting on the reporters to ask me. I'm just going to go and say what I feel like saying, and I'm going to call my good buddy Stephen A. Smith, and it's going to get blasted out to the world. We seen Micah Parsons at the last preseason game, was the only player on the sideline that didn't have a jersey on. Even the guys that weren't playing had a jersey, didn't have his jersey on. Cameras caught him falling asleep over there on the bench. He came out and said, I wasn't over there asleep the whole time. Or I wasn't laying down the whole time in the game. They just caught that moment, and the media tries to spin things, yada, yada, yada. A lot of back and forth is what this is. A lot of back and forth. And honestly, a lot of talk about nothing. I think Micah is over here firm on his stance, and I think Jerry Jones is over here firm on his stance. Micah Parsons says, I got the leverage. I'm not budging because I'm the player. Jerry Jones has proven throughout time, I'm going to do, say, act how I want to do, say, and act, especially with my team, but also within the NFL. Jerry Jones has walked out of owners' meetings when he didn't like what somebody else said. He don't care what anybody got to say. I'm going to do what I feel like I'm going to do, and whatever you decide to do is whatever you decide to do. I heard Ryan Clark on Get Up this morning talking about how back when they had the meetings with the Players Association and the owners, and Peyton Manning was talking, and Jerry Jones was trying to little boy Peyton Manning the whole time like he was a nobody. And he said by this point he's already a first ballot Hall of Famer. So Jerry Jones doesn't care who he's talking to or who he's dealing with. He's going to do the things he wants to do in the way that he wants to do them, and he was letting that be known. Rocky, what's your comments on Jerry's comments and Micah sitting down on the sideline? All this is going on within the last weekend.
I've been a Jerry supporter and a Jerry fan for over 35 years, man. I always, admired Jerry for just having the conviction and courage to go out and, first off, purchase the Dallas Cowboys and with his own money, and then go out and create a business enterprise, But this is just an example of how ruthless of a businessman Jerry is.
Yep.
And sometimes that's just the reality of the situation. Very successful men like Jerry, unfortunately, can be very ruthless when you're doing business, and that's the very reason why Micah is extremely wise to get his agent involved in any negotiation, because at the negotiating table, Jerry is the expert. He's done it many, many times. A player in that situation is, in my opinion, cannot really hold a candle to Jerry, especially when Jerry has the leverage and he's willing to use that leverage. In this situation, Jerry doesn't seem to have any interest in being listening to Micah and his agent. Mm-hmm. Jerry has in his mind what he thinks is fair and how he wants it to play out, and that's how it is. Unfortunately, Jerry, the reality is that you have to come up with an agreement. And if someone is not willing to agree to whatever terms you have on the table, then you have to negotiate with them, and you have to negotiate with them with the professionals that they've hired to represent them. Again, until a deal is signed, he knows this. Mm-hmm. Until a deal is signed, you don't have a deal.
Yeah.
Until your name is on the dotted line, you don't have a deal. That's why these guys go out there in the NFL and try to get some sense of protection and security when they go out and play, because they know if they bust a knee, they bust up an ankle, they bust up a shoulder, and they're damaged goods when they go to the negotiating table. Every team in the league holds that against those guys. Mm-hmm. So while you are healthy, while you are at your peak of your powers like Micah Parsons, while you have some leverage, you don't give it up, and you demand that you get compensated what you feel like you deserve. I don't know the numbers, and no one has talked numbers. Jerry, I pay attention when I'm evaluating who's telling the truth. I value what is not said just as much as what is said. And what was not said was that I called his agent.
Yeah.
At no point did he say I called his agent.
At no point.
You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
He insists he has a deal with Micah. Now, Jerry made a situation of who has to be happy with this deal.
He said that.
And Stephen A. Smith knows this. A great deal is where nobody's happy, meaning that you feel like you gave more than you probably should have, and they feel like they've given more than they should have. And that's probably closer to a good deal for everybody right then.
Yep.
When one person feels like they won and the other person feels like they've been taken advantage of, that's usually
deal.
what's happening.
Yeah.
You understand? So, and Micah's trying to avoid getting taken advantage of. And again, the NFL allows for agents to represent players for a reason. And if Jerry is refusing to deal with the same agent that negotiated Michael Parsons, not Michael Parsons, but Deshaun Watson's guaranteed deal. I want to say the same agent that negotiated Aaron Donald's deal.
I believe so. Yeah.
Yeah. So this guy has a track record. They say 1 year he had over $1 billion in contracts.
Yeah. He's one of the top agents in the world.
And so this guy is not something new. This guy's not a lightweight. This guy's not a Rudy Poot. This guy's the real deal. David Mulligetta is on par with Jerry in his field.
Yes, for sure.
Right.
And
so
I think
Jerry,
he feels that.
And Jerry, why don't you sit your ass down with David Mulligetta?
The person that's here.
Y'all come up with something that's in the best interest of Micah. Get the deal done so he can suit up and play next Thursday. That's what this is about, man. Jerry, you have a history of doing this, so don't act like this is your first time. Emmett had to hold out. You went to the last minute with CeeDee Lamb. Dak. Come on, Dak got injured in his contract year.
Yeah, he did. Broke his leg.
And because, the situation was what it was, you end up paying an injured guy way more than you should have had to pay it. A guy who's injured. Now, luckily, Dak is fully recovered and, and he's been a Pro Bowl player since then. But to be honest with you, he paid Dak $40 million a year where he could have got Dak for closer to 27 to 30 if he had signed him up a year earlier. He insisted. He ultimately does things he says he's not going to do. He said he wasn't going to pay Zeke Elliott. What did he end up doing? Zeke, you're under contract. Okay, Zeke went to Cabo.
Mexico. Yep.
And he had to pay. Again, players have leverage.
Mm-hmm.
They don't have a lot of leverage, and they don't have it for long. But when you're a 25, 26-year-old defensive pass rusher, that's when you have leverage. Highly productive at multiple positions. That's when you have leverage, and that's when you have an opportunity to use it. And I think Micah is wise for using his leverage when he has it.
Yeah, I agree 100% with everything you said. I think Micah's got to use the little bit of leverage he has left at this point to try to have some leverage to try to win in this negotiation. Like I've said before on here, nobody's really going to win in this scenario. Micah is compromising his body and him being in shape, his stats, his money, everything. Jerry is compromising, just losing more money and also losing credibility within your organization because somebody else is coming up for another payday. When it's time to re-up on CD in 3 years, is he going to sit here and go through the same foolishness and BS that you put Micah through? Because he might say, you already did this with me once. I'll just go ahead and walk, and I'll leave. I don't think Dak is, just my opinion, I don't think Dak will be around for his next contract. I think by that time, him or the organization would have moved on in the next 4 years when his contract is up. Couldn't that mess up your credibility with those guys? If you draft another Micah, what if Tyler Booker turns out to be a stud? It turns out the other guard you guys drafted a couple of years ago, Tyler Smith, he's a stud. He's going to come up for a contract.
Now one thing I'll say now, Jalen, you have to always remember, cash rules everything around.
You ain't never lied about that.
So if Jerry come through with the 130, it's hard, 130, 140. It's hard to stay mad at the dude if he comes through with the 130, 140 fully guaranteed. So this situation can all be remedied, right?
Right away.
By one stroke of a pen.
Yeah, right away. It'll get solved.
So, like I say, man, this is what it is. Micah is well within his right to advocate for himself, and I think it's wise that he's doing so at this point in his career. You push the can down the road, you kick the can down the road. Jerry say I really have 3 years I can deal with. Okay, go ahead. Go ahead.
Yeah, he did say that too. He said, I got 3 years of being
the good Lord you may not have 3 years,
Yeah,
Jerry.
that's just what I was about to say. You keep hanging out where we caught you hanging out the last year where you wrecked your car at 4 a.m. You keep hanging out down there. I don't know if you've got another 3 years in you, Jerry. Harry Hines has been unforgiving to many before. But, man, I don't know. This whole situation is crazy because the season starts next week. Not this coming up week, but on September 4th, the season starts. They not only have their division rival, maybe arguably their biggest rival, but the Super Bowl champs. And you're at their field, week 1. Jason Kelsey's wife is already getting on her podcast and talking noise to the Cowboys and called them all types of stuff out their names. So they ready for it, and you are battling right now with really your best player on the team in Micah Parsons potentially not being out there. So that's a lot going on. NFL season is right around the corner, folks. I am excited. I cannot wait. I want to look at a couple things before we move on from the NFL and talk a little college ball. For one, those of you that watched the show with us last year, y'all know that I love a good prop bet, man, and it is that time of year for prop bets. I ain't going to say it's that time of year because some of y'all got that itch bad and y'all was betting on tennis and stuff you ain't never watched before in your life all throughout the summer. Well, I'm here to tell you football season is back, and now we can go with the props that we know are going to work, or that we at least think that we know are going to work. I want to look at some of the props they put out for week 1 so far. Rocky, another guy that likes to do a little sports betting here and there.
For
So
sure.
I get his opinion on some of these. First one, Ashton Genty, over-under 71.5 yards. Rocky, what do you think about Ashton Genty playing the Patriots week 1?
Oh yeah, no doubt. I'm taking
71.5
I'm
rushing
taking
yards.
over.
Taking the over?
They gotta find out what they got. So in my opinion, you give him the rock just to see what he got.
Yeah.
What he got.
I think he'll get the touches. If I had to pick, I'd take Ashton Genty on the touches. I would actually, if I was forced to pick, I would take the under on this because they're playing the Patriots, and they're going to make it everybody's job out there to try to zero in on Ashton Genty. They know they want to get him the football. They've got a boatload of unproven receivers in Las Vegas. I think they're going to stack the box, and it's Mike Vrabel we're talking about. They're going to stack the box.
Signed Mark
and give him a
Cooper today,
chance.
right?
They did sign Coop today. I don't know if Coop's going to come right off the couch and come in and get 10 catches for $140 in week 1. He could, but if I had to pick, I would take the under on that one. 49.5 yards over under Travis Hunter against the Carolina Panthers in week 1. Rocky, what you thinking on this one? Over under for Travis Hunter, 49.5 yards.
Yeah, I'll take an over on that as well.
I'll take the over on that. I think he's going to get a good amount of targets, and Travis Hunter has touchdown ability anytime he touches the football. I'll take the over on that one. And they're playing the Panthers. If he's not going against J.C. Horn, he can cook everybody else out there. Let's just be honest. It's the Panthers. Cam Ward, 188.5 yards over and under in his debut against the Denver Broncos.
I gotta take the over again on that.
I agree.
I don't think they're gonna be able to run the ball, so they're gonna have to pass.
I think they're gonna be getting beat by 2 or 3 touchdowns. So by the fourth quarter comes, it's just gonna be let's
Garbage
throw the ball.
time.
Yeah, garbage time. Let's let Cam Ward go out there and get some passes off. Get some
And
more
he's one of
practice
those
in.
guys that he's gonna get yardage throwing the football.
Yeah.
He's just that guy.
We've seen in the preseason. He's trying to stretch the field first play in preseason. He don't care. He's trying to go for a touchdown. So I'll take the over on that. George Pickens versus the Eagles, 53.5 yards over under. What you like for George against the Eagles? I think I'm gonna take the under on this one. I
How
think
many
it's
yards you say
53 and a half. I think in his debut, they'll be working him in the
I'll
offense.
take the under on that. I'll take the under.
They're working him in the offense. They're gonna try
This is
to
against the Eagles. They got
Quinyon Mitchell out there. Cooper
Quinyon
DeJean.
Mitchell, Cooper DeJean. Yeah, I'll take the under on that. Yeah.
I think CD's gonna get a lot of touches. CD's gonna get a lot of targets in that one. Saquon Barkley, 95.5 rush. They just don't respect y'all defense at all. 95.5 rushing yards over and under the start. For those of y'all that don't bet, 95.5 rushing yards is a lot for somebody's over and over and under in a week opening game. That's a lot of yards to think somebody's just week one. Let's pencil them in for 100 yards. That's a tough one for me. I would lean towards the under just because what I just said. It's a lot of yards. We can see Saquon get 2 or 3 touchdowns in week one, goal line touches. If they don't rob him like they did last year with the tush push stuff, they'll give him some of those touches. I might take the under. 95.5. It's a season opener, y'all. That's a lot of yards. That's a lot of yards. I'll take the under.
What's Jalen Hurts props? Let me see that. He may have.
I know he's got some up. I'm gonna go and look.
Because what I'm saying is, what you got to look at is, and I'll say this: if they got him for 90 yards, how many yards do they think the total team is gonna get? And I was thinking if they, 120, 130 yards is a lot of yardage.
Yeah. Don't see his over and under, but I don't see his numbers being crazy because not a lot of people are going to put in bets like that on Jalen Hurts. Unless it's a rushing, I'll take a prop that hit for me almost every single time last year. Jalen Hurts anytime touchdown. That's an easy one you pencil in because they're gonna give him the tush push yards. They're gonna give him the goal line touches. I like that one for Hurts. For Saquon, I think that's a large feat for him to go out there and get 95 yards. Travis Hunter over and under 47.5 yards against the Chargers. Coming off of a pretty mediocre year for Travis Kelce last year.
Who they playing?
Chargers. Week 1.
Oh yeah, they're gonna need that.
Yeah. I like the over on. I think they're gonna make it a point.
Need that.
I think they're gonna make it a point this year to feed Travis Kelce the ball because I think he might be finna get out of here and go propose to Taylor Swift. And
I mean that's gonna be a competitive game. They're gonna need all
yeah,
those yards.
it is definitely gonna be a back and forth game with those guys. DK Metcalf 54.5 yards over and under versus the Jets. I like the under on this one. I think it's gonna be a lot of tight end work. They're gonna stick Sauce Gardner on DK Metcalf, and I like Sauce Gardner in that matchup. So I think this is an under because we're gonna see a lot of. If they don't have Pat Freiermuth on here, but whatever Pat Freiermuth is, take the over on him. Aaron Rodgers loves tight ends, especially in a brand new offense.
So what you say DK again now?
54.5. Playing against the Jets.
See, I'm taking DK.
You taking the DK?
Yeah.
I ain't mad at that. 54. I mean, that's a reasonable number.
Yeah, they're taking DK.
That's a reasonable number at the 54.5 yards. Let's see. Last one right here. Bijan Robinson, 74.5 yards versus the Tampa Bay Bucks. I'm taking over on Bijan. I think Bijan's probably going to lead the league. If he stays healthy, I think he's going to lead the league in rushing this year. I think he's probably also going to lead the league in touches this year as well.
I'd have to take for him. I like to look at the combined yards. I don't ever like to look at
me too. I'm the same way.
Him as rushing or passing.
I'm the same way.
I like the combined yards.
Yeah, if that was a combined yardage one, I would like that more.
Because the one thing about him, he's a full-time running back, but they play him also. They relieve him a lot.
Yeah.
In different situations, but he's going to get the ball in the passing game as well as the running game. So
they still got Ty Lazier there.
He's a guy that's going. It doesn't surprise me if he gets 13 carries in a game and catches 6 balls. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So on 13 to 15 carries, 75 is a lot of yards. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
If I knew week in, week out he was going to get 20 carries, I would say, yeah, he's going to get the 75 yards. But week in, week out, you don't know what he's going to get.
Yeah, because they'll move him. If the defense is stopping the run, they'll just split him out at receiver. They'll let him run out the backfield. So it's a lot of different ways. I'm like you. I would take the overall. I would take his over on touches. I would take his over on overall yards as well, depending on what the number is. Sometimes it'd be wild with Bijan. They got to depend. But those are some of the prop bets coming up for week 1. Week 1 is right around the corner. Obviously, as we get closer to the start of NFL season, I'll go down my favorites as far as props as we start the season off. But since we got a little time, we'll talk college football and high school football that we had this weekend. So next week, we'll touch on some more of those props. Before we get off to NFL, a couple of deals got done yesterday and today. We just talked about Micah's deal not getting done, but a couple of holdouts did get relieved. Trey Hendrickson gets his money as he gets paid $30 million per year. Trey Hendrickson comes up with the deal here, a $14 million increase, bumping his salary up. We know Trey Hendrickson led the league in sacks last year. Gets a pretty good deal, $30 million a year. Also in the NFC East, Scary Terry McLaurin gets his deal. They end the holdout with him as he gets a 3-year contract extension worth up to $96 million, according to his agent. What do you think about these other deals getting done? And, as the Cowboys stay in limbo, waiting on their deal to get done, 2 other guys that held out the entire preseason both get their deals done before week 1.
I'll say this. Hendrick got $15 million extra. I want to say Scary Terry he's probably going to see $30 or $40 million into addition to what he got. Mm-hmm. I think his signing bonus is what the real money is for him, because that's his real money. Mm-hmm. Micah's gonna get 140.
Yeah. Oh,
so
yeah.
those are different deals. Those
completely different.
Those are different deals. Those are deals.
Different players.
Yeah,
different stages in their career.
Yeah. We talking about a guy in his prime.
Yeah,
one of the top pass rushers in the game. But I don't think we should be, as a Cowboys fan, I don't think we should be at a stalemate with Micah. We should be talking. We should be getting the numbers hashed out. We should be getting the details. If we already have the guaranteed money and overall value of the contract already decided, then we should be getting details ironed out. Get your no trade clause in there.
Yeah.
Get your player option year. You know how that kind of stuff goes. Maybe add some incentives in the deal. Like I say, man, you got Jerry, call David Mullighetti
and get the deal over with, man, so we can start talking about Cowboys Eagles week 1 with the full team. We don't want the cop out. We don't want the Michael Parsons wasn't there. We don't want all that. We want the full thing. Eagles versus Cowboys week 1, man, because that's special. To get that, usually we see a good game to open the season, but to get a true rivalry game, there's not many left in the NFL. Eagles Cowboys are one of them. To get a real rivalry game in week 1, I think is going to be special. So let's get the deal done so we can see Micah out there. I want to switch over, talk a little college football, man. It's not only week 1 starting this weekend, but we had week 0 this past weekend and actually got some pretty decent games. We talked about the game outside of the stadium, but the game in the stadium with Iowa State and Kansas State was actually a good game. Turned out to be a really good one. Avery Johnson looked good. Rocco Beck looked good. I think those are two of the better quarterbacks coming back into college football this year. I think both of those guys look pretty good at times. Avery Johnson, I still think is a better quarterback out of that one. Gave us a good game.
Big 12 matchup.
Yeah, Big 12 matchup to start it off in Dublin. We didn't have to watch a Florida State versus Georgia Tech like we did last year. That was a horrible game to open up the season. Shout out to both teams for staying relatively healthy throughout that game, because you're playing on that terrible grass out there in Ireland that they probably play soccer on and pickleball, whatever. I don't know what sports they play in Ireland.
I don't think you play pickleball on grass.
You don't play it on grass. Well, I couldn't think of the name of the other game I was trying to think of out there. That lacrosse. That's what I'm thinking about. Yeah. Maybe lacrosse or something else would be more fitting for the grass that they had out there. But everybody stayed relatively healthy. Shout out to Stanford and Hawaii, man, for actually giving us a good game to be able to watch in week 1. I tuned into that game when I was going back and forth between the SWAC MEAC challenge. I would switch over and go watch some of the Hawaii and Stanford game. Actually ended up being a pretty good game. Kansas also came out, another Big 12 team, looked dominant in week 1 against a Fresno State team that they're supposed to beat up on. I took away from that. Jalen Daniels looks good. He's one of the better returning quarterbacks. And also a bad beat for those sports bettors like I was just talking about, y'all. Idaho State and UNLV. This is why I told y'all last week when we were talking about these props. It's certain games you just stay away from. Some people think those are the gravy games when you see a UNLV and Idaho State. UNLV was a 30.5-point favorite in this game in week 0. Final score in that game, 38-31. So I'm telling y'all, stay away from those huge spreads that doesn't make any sense. You know that you don't know anything about UNLV or Idaho State. So why would you pick a 30-point favorite in that game? If y'all are the guys that jumped in on those games early, shame on you. I told y'all, you know better, you do better. Don't bet on those games that got a 30-point spread in college football, man. Find you a sweet spot. And what I figured out is find you some teams that you know something about. I used to be the guy to get on there and jump out on a random game and just, they'll do this. If I don't really know anything about them, I'm typically going to stay away from those in there. What did you like about week 0? And I can't forget about the SWAC MEAC challenge as well. North Carolina Central and and Southern being able to play this weekend gave us another good game. The game kind of got away from Southern. I know you were at that game, Rocky, so I'll let you break that one down a little bit more about what happened in that game.
Well, I it was billed as a top 5 matchup of HBCU teams. I told you it very early. I had my misgivings about Southern or how good they really were.
Yep.
They've been looking for a quarterback for the past 4 or 5 seasons. They haven't shown the ability to develop one or find one. This is, they're on coach number 3 since I've been following the SWAC. And so, it looks, what I saw from Southern is, an offense that was, that struggled, that got some big plays, but ultimately struggled in the second half. And I saw a defense that was putrid.
Yeah.
Like they didn't even make
Yeah.
North Carolina Central punt until the first play of the fourth quarter. So it was terrible, man. It was terrible. And again, a lot of people, I see a lot of people online are criticizing the Southern offense. Again, to me, the Southern offense ultimately they gained 300 yards total offense.
Yeah.
But the defense gave up almost 500, and they weren't able to stop. They couldn't stop the nosebleed.
No, they couldn't.
And it was the interior defensive line where they had the problem. Their preseason All-American Kelby Givens, he was not effective at all at getting pressure on Walker Harris, the quarterback from NCCU. He pretty much, when you have a passing day where you're 19 or 24, you can rest assured you weren't under a lot of pressure.
Yeah.
If you were able to pass like that. I want to say he was 19 to 24 for 189 yards. So it was a game where the NCCU offense controlled the game, in my opinion. Like they controlled the game. Coincidentally, they had 9 of 11 returning starters on their offense, so it wasn't surprising that their offense was good. One of the players that they had to replace was running back, and they replaced him with a guy out of North Crowley named Christian Mosley, and he is the truth.
Yeah, real deal.
I don't see how that kid got out of Texas.
No.
I mean, you Texas school, I don't know how many D1 schools we hear. We got to have at least a dozen off the top of my head.
Yeah, at least a dozen in FBS
And
D1
FCS,
schools. Yeah,
yeah.
FCS D1 schools, yeah.
Yeah,
I
and so
think
so
it's
what I'm
about
saying,
15, 16.
How does that kid get out of Texas, man? That kid, and he went to Cisco. He went to JUCO in Cisco. I talked to him after the game. Really personable kid, really good, really happy to see somebody else from Texas, and I was glad to talk to him and find out he was from North Crowley. And he, like I said, he's a super kid, and he's a sensational player. He racked up. I want to say he had
182 yards, 17 carries.
Yeah.
And a touchdown. He was,
yeah.
You on fire. You doing? You averaging 10 yards a carry.
Yeah,
You had the game.
He could have easily got a dub.
Easy.
He could have easily got a dub, and so it was just an overall good game. Like I said, I talked to your dad earlier, and it was just a great atmosphere, great camaraderie, great culture. Had a great fan experience. This event is put on by ESPN, so
yeah.
They shout out to ESPN for investing in putting together a top-notch product, and it was thoroughly enjoyed by all people involved, man. Maybe you got to get out there next year with me, man.
I would love to go. For sure.
It's in Atlanta every year. It's funny how the HBCU season starts in Atlanta, and then with the SWAC MEAC Challenge, and then it ends in Atlanta with the Celebration Bowl for the Black College National Championship. So that it's really cool. And Atlanta is a tremendous host city, man. It is a phenomenal host city.
You ain't lying about that.
Definitely want to shout out Atlanta because it never disappoints.
Yeah, I'll make my trip down. I don't need no more selling. You made your point right there. I will make my way down to Atlanta. I never mind going to Atlanta. I've been a few times. I love the food. I love the culture. I love the people. Every single time I go, man. So shout out to the SWAC MEAC Challenge for putting on a good show to start the season, to showcase HBCUs to start the season. Man, I love it. I love that ESPN is involved within that. My dad said he knew the guy that did the camera crew that out there that got that game and everything like that.
Yeah.
So definitely shout out to the whole situation. Want to look at this is week 1, y'all. Week 1 of college football season. As I said last year, the best week 1 that I've been a part of since I've been watching college football. I think they've outdone themselves this year. A lot of good games. I want to start with that Friday night. Obviously, we'll start with the local team, man. The Baylor Bears and the Auburn Tigers started off 7 o'clock right here at McLean Stadium, right down the street from where we at right now. Rock, how do you see this one going? What are some keys for Baylor to be able to come out successful in this game if we don't get a chance to talk about it before they start again on Saturday?
Again, this game will showcase Baylor what they have Friday night against the SEC opponent. This is a big game for Baylor, great opportunity for Baylor to come out and get a victory. I'm pretty sure they're the underdog in this game.
They are.
It's a situation, but the game is at home. When I looked at it, I thought it was around 2.5, 3 points. I don't know what it is now.
See if I can find the prop. 2.5.
Huh?
Auburn.
2.5.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it hadn't moved very much.
It hasn't.
And so we're looking forward to a competitive game. I hope Sawyer Robertson and Cameron and those guys are able to really, showcase their skills and abilities. And I hope the defense is able to hold up with the retooled Auburn offense.
Yeah.
And so I'm just looking forward to it, man. I like I said, I won't make at this point. It's we'll be here in the studio on Friday. So, but just looking at it, if I had to pick a team, I'd have to pick Baylor because they're the home team, and I think because if you evaluate both quarterbacks, Sawyer Robertson is the better. After you mentioned that to me, I did my research and based on history, Sawyer Robertson is the better quarterback.
Oh, for sure.
Even though Jackson Arnold is the much more highly touted quarterback coming out of high school.
Oh, yeah. Coming out of high school.
He hadn't lived up to the hype, and so
not close.
If you look about what they've accomplished on the field while in college, Sawyer Robertson is definitely the more accomplished quarterback. And so if he continues to improve his play like he did the last couple of years, he'll be, he should outplay Jackson Dart, not Jackson Dart, but Jackson Arnold. If that happens, I believe they can pull out the game.
Yeah, I'm going Baylor in this one. I picked it last week. I'm going Baylor in this game. I like Baylor at the 2.5. Baylor's the home team. As Rocky just stated, they have the better quarterback in this situation. Hugh Freeze, who's the head coach of Auburn, won't even really pick a definitive starter. He said Jackson Arnold is a starter, but he said you could see 3 quarterbacks. Ashton Daniels, who transferred over from Stanford, he's got a lot of playing experience. He's coming in as a senior. Then you got the highly touted freshman out of Loosedale, Mississippi, and Deuce Knight, who's coming to the Auburn Tigers, who's one of their biggest recruits. He's saying you can see Deuce Knight in week 1. That's telling me that he doesn't have any confidence in Jackson Arnold whatsoever.
He's unhappy.
He's unhappy with what he's seen so far in training camp. For that reason, I'll pick them, even though I think Auburn has some of the bigger players in this scenario. When you think about it, Cam Coleman, Cam Coleman was on the same level of trajectory as Jeremiah Smith at Ohio State. They were both 1 and 2 in the nation at receiver. So we know what Cam Coleman can do with the ball. Eric Singleton was one of the most productive receivers in the nation last year at Georgia Tech. They bring him over. So I think they have some big-time playmakers. I have no faith in Jackson Arnold. Neither does Hugh Freeze. So for that reason, I'm taking Baylor. Colorado versus Georgia Tech to start off the season Friday night in Colorado, in Boulder, Colorado. How do you see this game going? Who do you like in this game? What are we going to see from Coach Prime and these Buffs to start the season out?
Well, I like Prime in this game. I think Caden Salter, this will be a showcase for Caden Salter to showcase his talents. I think a retooled Colorado defense will be unveiled. You'll see a much more physically imposing defense, which that'll be right. That'll be just what the doctor ordered against a Georgia Tech team that's really been kind of limited offensively the last couple of years, and with the with that being the case, I think Colorado will be able to put up points and they'll be able to contain what is kind of what has been a pedestrian Georgia Tech offense. So
Yeah, for sure.
So I think they'll win. Now, how score point spread? I think it'll probably still be close, but also the home field advantage of being up in 5,000 feet of altitude, having somebody come up there the first game of the season, I think that provides a challenge as well that most teams can't adjust to.
Can't simulate
especially
in
early,
practice.
Yeah, especially this early in the season.
Yeah, everyone's gonna be tired. It's first game of the season. You're in shape, but you're not in football shape until you're playing football. So everybody's gonna be tired. I think Georgia Tech is gonna be a lot more tired playing in that altitude. I think that's actually a really good point. They got Georgia Tech -5 in this one. I think this is easy pickup on the points right here for Colorado. They're the home team. I think they have similar quarterback play. I won't say the better quarterback to Colorado because Haynes King is a really good quarterback. But, I mean, skill positions, I think Colorado is killing them in skill positions. It'll be determined in the trenches. If Colorado can block and they can get to the passer on the other side, Colorado should win this one pretty handily, in my opinion. But if they can't block, like we've seen in the past from Colorado, they can't rush the passer, like we've seen in the past from Colorado, this is going to be a Georgia Tech win. But I think they've improved those things. I've liked what I've seen in camp. And watch out for the name Quentin Gibson. We were just talking about one of those North Crowley guys in the Swag MEAC Challenge. Look out for Quentin Gibson to be a big play guy. He's not going to get a lot of touches because he's a freshman. He's a true freshman. But he was just Gatorade State Player of the Year here in Texas. Just won 6A champion, 6A state
little wide
championship.
receiver.
Yeah, the little dude out there from North Crowley that was killing.
He's a problem.
He is a major problem. I mean, he's probably $160, $170, 5'9" in cleats. When he touches the ball, he is electric. I'm telling y'all right now, just look for the big. He's not going to get 10 catches, but the plays he does get, whether that's kickoff, whether that's punt, whether that is a drag route, a screen, or a go ball, whatever touches he gets,
It's gonna be a real problem.
he's going to be a problem for that. So that's going to be much CTV. I want to look at a couple of these games here before we get out of here today. Like I said, it's week 1 in college football, huge games. And while Rocky's here on the show here, top of the week, I want to discuss some of these before we get to the end of the week so we can say we had our predictions in. Texas, Ohio State. This one's been back and forth. 11 o'clock kickoff, playing at the Shoe in Columbus. Ohio State, Texas. Right now, Ohio State is a 1.5-point favorite. Who do you like in this one, Texas and Ohio State, to start the week off?
Texas, Ohio State. I got Texas, man. I got Texas.
Yeah, I think originally I had Ohio State in this one because I picked them because they were at the Shoe. But the more and more closer we've got to this, I think I'm leaning more towards Texas now. They have the much more experienced quarterback. I think they have the better offensive play caller. Last year, Chip Kelly was working magic for Ohio State and the Buckeyes. Chip Kelly is gone. They got a new offensive coordinator in the building now. I think that advantage goes to Steve Sarkisian, who was a superior play caller to most. Mm-hmm. I think their offense is going to be rolling. Trey Wisner is going to have another big year, in my opinion. Can Texas block Ohio State? That's the big thing, in my opinion. Can they block him? We know what Jeremiah Smith is. We know what he's going to bring to the table. We know what Carnell Tate is and those guys on Ohio State's offense. Can they replace that running back production they had last year because they lost both of those guys, in Trevion Henderson, Quinshon Judkins? Can they replace that? And can their offensive line hold up like it did? Those are the questions I have. I'll take Texas in this game, but, man, I'm glad we get that one to start the season off. It's going to be special to see that be the first week opener because we don't usually get, in a lot of people's eyes, number 1 and 2 team in the nation. A couple of these big games that we're looking at for that weekend. Alabama, Florida State is an interesting one to me. Alabama is a major favorite in this game, but I'm not exactly sold on what Alabama's quarterback play is going to be. They're starting Ty Simpson. I'm not sold on Ty Simpson. I do think Alabama can win the game, but right now they're a 13.5-point favorite. So I might lean towards picking up some of those points if I'm Florida State. I think they can stay competitive in this game. Are they 2 touchdowns better than Florida State at Florida State? I don't know that. So for that reason, I might take Florida State in the points, even though I'll probably take Alabama to win this game.
Yeah, I'm taking Alabama in this game. I don't think the Florida State coach is for real.
No, I don't think so either.
I don't believe in anything that they have. When they brought the the kid in last year to play quarterback and think that was that was okay. That tells me that you're not watching the film.
Yeah.
They shouldn't have brought that kid in.
He didn't have that great of a year at Oregon State. I don't know how he got a big deal to come there too. At that, he got a big deal to come there. Like I always tell y'all, for those that bet, man, stay away from. We see these games right now. OU's a 35.5 point favorite against Illinois State. Florida is a huge favorite. I mean, they took their line down because I think it was so much. Kansas State's a 30-point favorite over North Dakota. Stay away from these games. There's plenty of other games to pick up y'all's money if y'all are putting together some type of parlay or something. Stay away from those huge games. The Battle of Death Valley, LSU and Clemson. Clemson's a 4-point favorite. They're playing at Clemson. I got Clemson in this game because they're playing at home. I really, really like LSU for this season, though. I said last week on the show, I think they're a dark horse for winning the SEC this year. They have a very talented roster. 4 points going towards Clemson.
LSU.
You taking LSU with the 4?
Yeah.
I am mad at that.
I'm not a
Cave
big Cave Klubnik guy. I know you are. I just think, and you're also not a big Brian Kelly guy.
Not at all. Not at all.
Well. So that kind of works. That kind of works.
You see why I'm leaning towards Clemson.
Yeah. But I just think it's gonna be a knockdown drag out.
Yes.
Klubnik. This is a game where Klubnik will be able to. He won't have the advantage athletically. In that game, his receivers will be on par with the DBs that LSU rolls out.
Yes.
And I expect LSU to edge out the victory. If I'm going to take LSU in this game and get 4 points, I'm going to take those 4 points, and I definitely anticipate them winning the game.
One more I want to look at before we get off college: the Catholics versus the Convicts. Man, Notre Dame in Miami, a top 10 matchup. We get a few top 10 matchups this week. This will be the last one as they'll play on Sunday night on ABC.
Is Stetson Bennett the quarterback?
Carson Beck for Miami. And I believe Hudson Carr is going to get to start as a freshman, a redshirt freshman for Notre Dame. Because it's in Miami, I like Miami.
I got the Convicts on this.
Notre Dame's a 2.5-point favorite. They rolling out a rookie, essentially a freshman quarterback against the Miami team that's going to be stacked. Miami, I think, has the best offensive line in the country. So for that reason, Carson Beck won't have to do too much, similar to at Georgia. People thought he was good because he didn't have to do anything at Georgia. He's not going to have the same complement of receivers like he had at Georgia, but their running game will be good. Like I said, their offensive line is going to make almost everybody look good. They got the whole offensive line is almost projected to get drafted. 2 guys are projected to be first rounders off of the offensive line. So they got some monsters. For that reason, I'll go with, as you just said, the Convicts in this game. Week 1 is going to be special, guys. I cannot wait for Week 1 coming up here this following weekend. Also, we talked earlier, you guys at the top of the show talked about Friday Night Flex starting this weekend, starting on Friday. So we'll be covering all these high school football teams here in the Central Texas area. We'll dive more into that as we get further and further throughout the week and closer to it. We'll break down some more of the games. I'm going to hit up a lot of these coaches and see who I can get to call in and tell us more about their teams before we get to Friday, so that we'll have some more context on these games going in. I like a lot of the matchups going into this Week 1 as well. Got some quick takes, folks, before we get off the show here today. A couple of quick takes I want to go to. We talked about the guys that got paid here today. One of them, some of us seen a clip of Mario Chalmers hitting a game-winning shot in the Big Three. They had their championship. The Miami team wins in their first year there with Michael Beasley, who won the top player of the year. I think he got the MVP this year in the season in the Big Three. But I just want to speak really on the growth of the Big Three from what we've seen in Ice Cube starting this league a few years ago to what it is right now. Got to take hats off to Ice Cube, man. He had a vision, had a lot of obstacles going against him to not only get this off the ground, but to continue this. Funding was a big deal he talked about. The NBA not wanting to help out was a big deal. Him creating his own league from scratch. He had an idea and got it off the ground. He's getting these guys paid. I believe every player gets close to $100,000 that plays in the Big Three. For a guy that's been sitting out and not playing basketball 4 or 5 years, $100,000 can change a lot in your situation. So he's providing opportunity for these guys. The winner of the Big Three championship gets $1 million. So, I mean, shout out to Ice Cube, man, for just putting on a great show, another really great season for him. What do you think about the Big Three and I guess how far it's come over in the last few years?
Big Three is a tremendous product, man. They have a cult following, people that really love it.
Yeah, they do.
I
They
mean,
do.
one of the unique situations is that the fans get to be up close and personal with these guys. Big Three is really a fans league.
Yeah,
you
it
know
is.
what I mean.
It
It's
is.
a fans league, and it's so entertaining, and the guys have really bought into it. You have all of the you have even the post NBA guys that if they're not playing, they're part of the promotion and pageantry of being in the stadium or coaching or doing commentary. I just think it's a great business model, and I hope it continues to grow because I think basketball is one of those sports that you can play as you age without risking life and limb. Now I don't know if they ought to have a seniors NBA, but you certainly got the Big Three definitely can carve out a place in sports because it's a tremendous fan based product, and anything that increases the enjoyment for the fans, I think, is a product destined for greatness, and we will be well received.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's been doing a great job since the inception of the league to give these guys another opportunity. Some dudes, and they got a great mix. They got NBA champions like Mario Chalmers in there. They got guys like Michael Beasley who's just looking for a place to play ball and showcase what he could do. I believe a few years ago, Joe Johnson actually got a contract back into the NBA for playing in the Big Three. They watched him playing in the Big Three, ended up getting a couple of 10-day spots there with the Celtics, I believe, a few years ago. We see some of the YouTube guys that are famous have played in this league.
I gotta ask you this.
Mm-hmm.
Can you see a guy like KD playing in this league?
I think by where the league will be at by the time KD is done, I think I can see it because
to me, the game is tailor made for him. If you
it
ask
is
me.
for sure.
It's tailor made for his game.
Perfect
You know
for
what I
his
mean?
game.
And again, and it may be, and like you say, the league may be in a place where it may be they can make it maybe worth KD's while. Guys like that to come back, you know, the KDs, the Stephs, the guys who are no doubt Hall of Fame level players can come in and play. Now, one thing about it is, do you want those players involved to take away the opportunities for kind of the journeyman players that whatever? That's always a concern. But I think it's also a space for it to be highly competitive, and you can tell Steph, hey, this ain't the NBA. You try that shit in the NBA, but this is the Big Three, baby. At the Big Three, I'm the king.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Have those kind of
Exactly.
and then they could say this is just ball. You know, so I can see where it really can be, or a situation where KD can build his own team and enter it into the Big Three.
And I was going to say that. KD's a very accomplished businessman as well. For those of you that don't know, he's invested in pickleball leagues. He's invested in multiple soccer teams. So I can see that being being a story there too as well, with him going there, and maybe he buys a team. Maybe he goes in, finds a way to work out to orchestrate some type of thing where he comes out and owns a team, multiple teams maybe, or gets a stake within the league.
Yes.
Maybe okay, I refuse a check from you, but give me 2% in the league. Give me a percentage of what's going on with the league. So there's a lot of opportunity there for the Big Three, and I just got to shout out to Ice Cube because he's told the story multiple times. They didn't want this to happen, whoever y'all assume the they is. They didn't want him to be able to get this league off and to see it going successfully, consistently. Got to take hats off to Ice Cube on that one as well. One more here before we get out of here today. Bleacher Report, I don't have the full list in here, but they gave out a list. They put out a list of the top 25 or the top players in the last 25 years. I don't have the full list, but they named Tim Tebow as it was talking about college football. Sorry about that. They named Tim Tebow as the number one college football player in the last 25 years. Of course, 100% I call BS on this, but I want to get your opinion on this, Rocky. I feel like the fanfare of Tim Tebow exceeds the play.
So here, I'll just sum it up. The same they that didn't want the Big Three to happen is the same they that voted for Tim Tebow as the greatest college football player in the last 25 years. So that's they being they. You know what I mean?
Literally, because I'm like, man, what are we talking about?
Yeah. So I mean, it does surprise me. He was a phenomenon. He was a sensational player as well. So I'm not gonna campaign against Tebow. But there's so many great players. You know, you had Vince Young, Reggie Bush. You had so many guys.
Yeah.
In the last 25
Cam,
years.
Vince, and Reggie, I think in the last 25 years have to be on the Mount Rushmore.
Yeah, I mean, I'll even, you may not agree, but what Johnny Manziel meant to the game, man,
sure.
was, come on, man. And
Johnny football was magical. For those of y'all that dig, when they beat Alabama in that week 4 or 5, I was like, yeah, he was on
one
top
thing
of the world.
about Johnny, Johnny football.
Yeah.
Like, and I'm gonna talk to you guys about just what sometimes winning isn't winning. Mm-hmm. And I'll tell you this: one of the greatest teams, sports teams of my lifetime was the Fab Five.
Yeah.
And they didn't win anything.
Yep.
But when you talk about the imprint that they made
Absolutely.
on sports and culture, and then on the entire country, they definitely won.
Mm-hmm.
They definitely are champions in that regard.
For sure.
Because I don't think there's another college team that is as relevant after post 30 years as
not even close.
I mean you can name all 5 players, and then not only that, even my kids know who are part of the Fab Five.
Yeah. I
And
mean,
they
shoot,
weren't
I was
even
named
talking-
after one of them. So like literally, and they said that's where they got the name from. So
Yeah,
I
so-
mean, I
So when you
get
talk
it.
about it, and so when I think about guys like Johnny Manziel, Cam Newton, Vince Young, those guys, and Reggie Bush,
Reggie, for sure.
what they did on the field will be remembered forever.
Yes.
And it's bigger than it's something that numbers and championships can't really quantify and capture. They were, of course, Vince Young and Reggie, they won championships, but I'm just talking about like guys like, and also Cam for that matter.
Mm-hmm.
But what Johnny Manziel was,
man.
and even to some degree, RG3, for people who understand what he meant to Baylor football during that time. It was almost a resurrection of a
Yes, it was.
of a dead program.
Absolutely.
And so those guys will be remembered in folklore forever. Not because they won championships, but because of what they meant to their schools and what they meant to the overall game of football, man. And so again, we can. I'm one of those guys that I'm not going to try to tear Tim Tebow down to try to build other people up. But certainly, if I had a pick, that ain't who I would pick.
Man, come on. We're not putting wobbly spiral Tim as the best college football player of all time. In the last 25 years. I would clearly, I think, head and shoulders above him, put Cam Newton, Vince Young, and Reggie Bush. It's just my opinion. I know he got 2 Heismans, and I know he got championships, but y'all tell me who was losing them championships with that team. Y'all seen the documentary. They were stacked. Florida was an amazing team. Tim Tebow was a
has
part
2
of that.
Heismans?
2 of them, I believe. Did he? Or
I
maybe he
think he-
voted for 2.
No,
Maybe
no,
he got
no,
voted
no.
for 2,
I
and
don't
he
think
won
has-
one.
Yeah.
And didn't get the other one. So yeah, come on, yeah. If he got a Heisman and a Natty, so does Cam, so does
And then
Reggie, so does
when you
Vince.
talk about, he's not even the best freshman all time.
No,
Because for freshman all time, I don't think there's a freshman better than Lamar Jackson.
not even close. Not even. That's the first name I was going to bring up.
Yeah.
Not even close.
So again, I'm a huge football fan, man.
Yeah.
So, but and I respect what Tim Tebow did for the game and what he meant to the Gator program and all that. But
Yeah, we're not going to do that. Folks, we out of time here on Centex Primetime. Right before we get out of here, we got breaking news. Rocky, I got to get your opinion on it. Kenny Pickett traded to the Raiders for a 5th-round pick. Gone that quick. So Rocky's prediction, he put his Nostradamus hat on and told y'all what was going on before it happened. Y'all can just tune back in earlier in the show. Last thoughts on that. Kenny Pickett just getting traded to the Raiders.
Man, I can see the writing on the wall. Baby. I'm not a fortune teller or anything like that. I just knew they weren't taking 4 quarterbacks into the league. And thanks to, I know his name is not Neil O'Donnell, but whoever the O'Donnell guy, O'Connor, what's his name from? It took us. a broken leg to get Kenny Pickett out of
Oh yeah,
Cleveland.
yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, but that's football. That's football.
Yeah, it is.
Football.
It is. It is.
You know, and they probably got a bag of chips and a large Dr. Pepper for
That's
him.
it.
So what I mean. So I mean, it wasn't.
They somehow snuck a 5th round pick out of it. I don't even. Hey, well,
This is
that's
one of
the
those.
NFL,
This
y'all.
is one of those deals that I honestly think, if Raiders had their choice, they probably called on Shador, and they said
and got cussed out.
Yeah, he said he's not available,
Yeah.
but this guy is available. You know what I mean?
Let's just get it done. 5th round pick.
Yeah,
Here you
yeah,
go.
yeah,
Let's
yeah,
just get it
yeah,
done.
yeah.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's one of those things. But you said Pickett was on his way out. Me and Wayne were on here last week and said Pickett is the odd guy out. You don't even throw the ball.
Somebody told me, I was talking to my co-host of HBC Coach's Corner, Stephen
Mm-hmm.
Campbell. He was like, "Hey man, they're gonna keep 4 quarterbacks," and I was like, "Yeah, right."
Yeah, Deshaun.
Now I didn't know what I didn't know what was gonna happen.
Yeah.
I didn't know how it was gonna happen. I didn't even know how it was unfolding. Even here, I kind of hedged a little bit and said, even if it's on the opening day roster, I don't see him having 4 quarterbacks past Game 6.
Yeah.
Now this does change, and puts, instead of being a snap away, it's 2 snaps away from Shador being in the game. So
Oh, yeah.
I think it adds a you know a texture to that story, and
it
it
definitely
ramps up. You know, and Shador is by far going to be the most highly touted, popular third string quarter. There are going to be more Shador jerseys in the stadium of any third string quarterback to ever live. If you ask me, man, he's going to be
Ever. Because it's going to be mostly Shador jerseys in the stadium.
Yeah.
The only person in the stadium going to have a Joe Flacco jersey on is him. Nobody else in there is having on a Flacco jersey. So, yeah, that's how we end the show, y'all. That's the breaking news right there. We told y'all before, y'all better get in where you can fit in because we keep trying to tell y'all what's going on out here. Kenny Pickett gets traded to the Raiders. He's on his way out. A couple plays away from seeing the Shador into the game in Cleveland. But we out of time here today, folks. Want to thank y'all for jumping on here with us here today. We'll be back here tomorrow, same time, same place, as we get closer and closer to football season in high school, college, and
Hey,
the NFL.
we got
here.
HBCU Coach's Corner.
Yes, sir, for sure.
In about 30 minutes. So
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Make sure y'all tune in for that.
tune into that.
It's ready. It's already dialed up on my TV. It'll be on by the time I get to the house. So thank y'all for watching here again today. Appreciate Rocky for jumping on here with us. We'll see you guys tomorrow. Everybody have a great evening.